thank you all for coming this morning. We're going to have more people make some observations, and then we'll be happy to take some questions. State Senator Grendel, State Senator Schindel, myself, and Deb Zilak, who's been a bus driver with the district for 21 years, and make some observations. Before we do that, just to show the breadth and the depth sort of the Madison community in terms of how supportive the local elected officials are of the bus drivers in this dispute. I'd just like to take a minute and go around the crowd and have trustees, council people introduce themselves. I saw Bill Brodsman back there someplace.
Right here. Thank you, Steve.
Bill Brodsman. Just stick your hand up and shout your name out. What you do.
Oh, Jeff Ford, Madison Township trustee.
Wayne, Madison Township trustee.
Mark Bess, Madison Village Council.
John Bartlett, Madison Village Council.
John Hammer, Madison Village Council.
Anybody else? Well, thank you very much, all of you, for coming. Everybody has a busy day. Just by way of background, I read in the newspaper that there was going to be a termination of the contract of bus drivers here effective on June the 30th. I heard from a very nice bus driver through email and indicated that sort of the depth and breadth of the situation, asked if we would take a look at it. We did, in fact, take a look at it. We met with the drivers, a lot of the drivers, on June the 30th, the day the contract expired. Since that time, I've had the opportunity to talk to some board members and also the lawyer, Mr. Smith, who represents the board. As a result of those discussions, I reached the conclusion that I actually, in my letter, quoted my favorite movie, Cool Hand Luke, and indicated that what we have here is a failure to communicate. And you have one side saying that multiple offers were sent to the bus drivers. You have the bus drivers saying they got to take it or leave it proposal from the board. You have one side saying that their lawyers were involved every step of the way. Someone from the board saying that the lawyers were not, in fact, involved every step of the way. So it appears that what you had here, to be generous, would be people talking past each other. And as a result, we have a situation now where we have people that have worked for the community, for the school board for a number of years. We're going to hear from Deb in a minute, who's been 21 years with the board. My children are growing up here, still go to the Madison schools. I always found it to be comforting when I would walk out even in the snow and find a bus driver that I knew taking either my son or my daughters to the middle school or to the high school. And I know that a lot of Madison folks feel the same way. Now, having said that, I commend the Board of Education for trying to find a way to save money. In these tough economic times, everybody wants to find the opportunity to save a little dough. It's just I've reached the considered conclusion that this was not the way to go about it, and this wasn't where to find a savings. And to talk about why I think it's a good opportunity for the board to reconsider its decision to enter into a contract with CBS Transportation Services, we're going to turn it over to State Senator Grendel in just a second, because I think that my understanding, and I'm going to leave it up to the state guys, but my understanding is House Bill 66 a number of years ago recognized that there are going to be school districts that find themselves in financial trouble and give them the opportunity to privatize, if you will, some services. It's our considered opinion, however, that the way that this has gone about in this situation may not comport with what was intended by House Bill 66, and as a result, that's a perfect opportunity to then go back to the table and begin to, go to the table for the very first time, go to the table and discuss the issues and hopefully reach an agreement between the bus drivers and the Madison local school district. So let me turn it over to Tim Grendel to talk a little bit about House Bill 66 and his interpretation of law. Senator, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Congressman LaTourette. First of all, it's a pleasure to stand here today with the drivers and to support Congressman LaTourette in trying to reach a solution here that allows us still to keep you doing what you've done best, which is drive our students and keep them safe on the road. I do want to start by saying it's great to have a congressman who on a Monday morning will come out to his district and stand up for his people. We're very fortunate to have Congressman. I was there when House Bill 66 got passed. As the congressman mentioned, we always like to find ways to keep the cost of government down for the good of all the taxpayers. But the purpose of House Bill 66 was to allow governmental entities to reduce not only the cost of a unit of government services, but all connected to removing the responsibility totally for that service. And my concern about what we've seen here in Madison is that somebody has cherry-picked apart House Bill 66. It was never intended to be a labor-busting provision. It wasn't intended to allow an entity of government to use 66 to pick out only a piece of that governmental service, in this case the labor cost of driving, but to continue to maintain other responsibilities and costs related to the overall service that was involved. And so I am disappointed to see that 66, I think, is being taken out of context, is being used for a purpose which was not intended. It certainly was not my intention or my knowledge of anybody's intention to allow House Bill 66 to be used to cherry pick out just that element of labor and to try to take a disadvantage, using that language, a disadvantage of the folks who've been providing that labor and services to the community. And so I'm joining Congressman LaTourette and asking the school board to please rethink their position and that this is not the purpose of House Bill 66, and they're misusing it in this context, frankly, for a very detrimental result, not only for you, but I believe for the community in general. And so this was not the reason we did that, and hopefully they will get that message and go back to the table here and rethink their decision when it comes to your services as drivers. And I want to again thank Congressman LaTourette and reiterate how fortunate it is to have him here and to be able to work with Steve on so many issues that affect our mutual constituents in Lake County.
Well, Senator, thank you very much. And just to be clear, what the Senator's talking about in this particular instance, our understanding of the contract with CBS is that they will provide the transportation services, but with Madison Local School District buses and Madison Local School District diesel buses, the only thing that's being supplied, if you will, is the scheduling and the drivers. And if you think about a $300,000 a year savings, what you're talking about is getting people in that don't make a lot of money, don't have good health care benefits, don't have pensions, don't have a variety of other things, and that's not, as the Senator has indicated, the purpose behind the bill. The purpose behind the bill was to say that, look, if you're in financial trouble as a school district and you need to, and you can demonstrate the need to hire lock, stock, and barrel, somebody else can come in and provide all of the transportation services, and that's what it's designed to do, and you can argue about whether it was appropriate or not. But in this case, the Senator, I think, has aptly indicated they have cherry-picked the labor piece, but the Madison taxpayers are still going to pay for the buses, the upkeep, and the gasoline or the diesel. Our fine state representative from out Madison Lake, Caroline Schindel. Caroline.